on Codington Avenue near the country club section of the Bronx. This was a known Lucchese hangout, most notably in the 2010s. It was said that on the regular, mob heavyweight Stephen Crea would hold court at this location. Now, at one point in 2012, members of the Bonanno crime family would force their way into this club, the Codington Club, and have a bit of a issue with members of the Lucchese family. Unclear if the Codington Club is still around today and open for business. I'm not going to speculate, but I have heard things.
One of the things I wanted to talk about is how they try to only show the jury what they want to show them, the prosecution. They paint things to mean something they're not, or they'll try to show you something when in reality there's a lot more to it. Now let me explain. They kept talking about this club during the trial. And again, just to keep it general, you don't need to be privy to the trial. Just in general, if you're part of a jury, you're on the trial, and the government's talking to you about a specific item. They're telling you that there's a club that all supposed alleged members of organized crime go to, and only they're allowed to go to it. And it's on the trial records. This exhibit was part of the trial record, so that's why I'm able to show this. This is public information. It was part of the trial. And this was done by the defense team, and I'll tell you why. They presented a video of surveillance of this club in the Bronx. And they tried saying only organized crime members are allowed to go there. No women are allowed to go there. No members of the public are allowed to go there. This is also the club that another podcaster, John Panisi, talked about, that apparently he frequented a lot, but yet there's not one surveillance photo, there's not one surveillance video of him ever going out of thousands and thousands of photos and years of surveillance. That's a story for another time. So my point with this is they show the jury a clip of the club, and they're just showing people that they're alleging are organized crime members going in and out of the club. They show nothing else. They're just showing that, and they're using that to tell the jury this is a club where evil things take place, to really paint a sinister picture of what this club is about, because they don't want the reality. You want to know what the reality is? It's a bunch of older people, some Italian, some not, that go there, play cards, talk, have conversations. A lot of them are friends. They hang out. A lot of them are retired. It's really cards, and women are welcome. People from the public could go in, and I'm going to show you why that's important. They made it like this secluded club that only members could go. Totally not true. It was a club for people in the neighborhood to go into, eat. There was a lot of eating. They make a lot of food, a lot of lunches and things like that. Now, they harped on that throughout the whole trial. We pulled the entire surveillance footage that they turned over, and we went through it all. And lo and behold, obviously, they cut out a lot of portions. So what the defense did, we compiled all of the different people who go in and out of this club, women, older ladies, people in the public just walking in, getting something to eat, playing some cards, and that's what went on. We showed this to the jury. Why, I don't know, it seems like they just brushed it off, but to me, that would tell me, well, you lied to me once, how do I know everything else isn't a lie? The government spent the whole case saying how only members, and not only did the government, the informants who testified said the same thing. That only members of this organized crime could go there and frequent there. Only men could go there. You had to be somebody to go there. They pushed that theme throughout the whole trial, and then we played this in the summation. And I'm just going to let it play. There's no audio, but you could see who frequents this club. Here you have a lady going in and out. I believe she cooks in there. She works in there and cooks. Now, this was all played for the jury to show that the government was not being honest and the informants were not being honest when they said only certain people could frequent this club, and a lot of sinister things go on in this club. It's a bunch of neighborhood friends, people who grew up with each other, people in the neighborhood who go there for lunch, go there to play cards, watch TV, interact, and socialize. Here's somebody off the street going in. I'm sure he's a member of the neighborhood who walked in. Now, he wasn't identified as anybody, supposedly any kind of titles. Just a member of the public going in. Here's another gentleman walking in. Again, no label on him. Wasn't accused of being anything to do with organized crime. How is he allowed to go in the club? I thought this was a members-only club. All sinister things take place in this club, I thought. Huh, there he goes. Goes right in, no problems. There's somebody else, a worker. Getting out of his car, probably going for lunch, see his friends, talk to people he knows, maybe play some cards, watch some TV. Again, it's all the picture they paint. They try to make a club, a social club, where older guys are hanging out, people who grew up with one another, people who interact, people who live in the neighborhood, frequent, cook for each other, eat. They try to make that gesture something evil, something sinister, something that is plagued with crime. And that's just not the case. That's not the reality, and the jury needs to see that. And one would figure when the jury saw this, after the whole trial, they were talking about this club. Look, there's another elderly woman going in. Now, I don't think that's Ma Barker. There's another lady going in. Look, ton of food. She's bringing food. Her son's helping her bring the food in. They're bringing food for everybody in there. There's another female. They said time and again, if you read the trial transcript, no females were allowed in the club. Only supposed members. All I've been seeing so far are just people walking in out of the street, regular people. There's somebody else going in. This gentleman was never identified as anything. Never had any supposed title. He's just a member of the public going in, somebody in the neighborhood. Here's another woman walking down, going into the club. Oh, maybe she didn't go in. She disappeared. But here's another guy coming out for a smoke, I guess, or eating something. See, a lot of eating goes on there. Anybody who knows Italians, a lot of Italians like to eat. I'm one of them. So we enjoy our food. There's eating, there's socializing, there's playing cards, and now they make that, they want to paint it as something sinister. So if you're older, a lot of the gentlemen are older individuals. If you're older, you can't go somewhere and hang out with friends and people you know and neighborhood people. Could smoke, whatever. That's not allowed no more. That's a crime now. That's a crime. They paint it to mean something it's not. It's all about the shell game, moving the shell around, making it mean something it's not, putting up false facades. And that's why really I started this show, to pull the curtain down and show the truth on a lot of these things, show the lies that a lot of these informants are spreading. And again, you could see for yourself. What they claimed at trial is another gentleman going in, is one of the neighbors. There's a lot of neighbors around there. They'll cook, they'll bring food in. Here's another elderly lady. She goes right in, no problem. Now, if it's a private club, wouldn't all these people get kicked out? If it's this sinister operation, why would all these members of the public be part of it? Because it's not true. It's not a reality. It's just not based in reality.